Dear students, now I am going to tell you about vaccines, different types of vaccines and examples for these different types. Everyone you know about vaccines. You have vaccinated against so many infectious diseases in your childhood. Now also we are waiting. Already the government arranged to get vaccinated against this pandemic of COVID-19. So what is vaccine? Vaccine is an antigen containing preparation given orally or injected into the body to produce immunity against a particular disease. A vaccine is a medical or biological preparation given to improve the immunity to a specific disease. So for example, now Covaxin is given to provide immunity against COVID-19 like that. So vaccines use a variety of antigens ranging from dead microbe to genetically engineered antigens to defend the body against harmful pathogens. So in this vaccine suspension or preparation, so many varieties of antigens are used. It may be a dead microbe, virus or bacteria, part of that bacteria or viral particle which is causing disease, or else inactivated, or else killed, or else modified, or else the toxins of that. So varieties, so we will able to realize all this when we study the different types of vaccines. So vaccination is a preventive measure by which body is prepared to fight immediately against a specific disease causing microbe. So how vaccine works? Vaccines actually sensitize the body immune system. Immune system will learn about or sensitize or get a knowledge about particular the disease causing a pathogen, and that's what you can see. Vaccines sensitizes the body's immune system to recognize and respond quickly for a specific harmful pathogen. So you will see here how the oral vaccine, polio vaccine, will be administered to the baby. Similarly, this is the injections, injectable vaccines. So the immune system, how our immune system works or immune responses is always a quicker and stronger when the same antigen is presented for a second time. This is the basis of this immunization or vaccination, where body is exposed or prepared to a killed or weakened microbe which is not going to cause any disease, but the immune system will be shown a particular microbe, disease causing microbe in the form of vaccine, and which elicit active immunity against that particular pathogen when it is presented subsequently or next time. So in this way immune system will be trained. So this pathogen is there. So when the pathogen is presented next time, it is immediately the immune response is very quick and strong, so that we are not going to suffer from the disease. So once stimulated by the vaccine, the antibody producing B cells remain sensitized and ready to respond to that particular microbe when it is gain entry to the body next time. So vaccines are usually administered by injections. Some are given orally or even nasally in the case of flu vaccine. So vaccines applied to the mucosal surface, such as those lining the gut, nasal passage, seem to stimulate greater antibody responses. Vaccines save millions of, this is the World Health Organization's definition, vaccines save millions of lives each year. Vaccines work by training and preparing the body's natural defenses, the immune system, to recognize and fight of the viruses and bacteria they target. If the body is exposed to those disease causing germs later, the body is immediately ready to destroy them and preventing the illness. So, vaccines against viruses are very important. So, it is because we get immunity for the bacteria, or as we get get cured from bacterial disease, we have antibiotics, drugs against bacteria, but there is no such drugs against viruses. That is why the vaccines against viruses are very important. So, let us go about the history of these vaccines. So, in 1796, Edward Jenner, you know Edward Jenner, for the first time the vaccine he discovered or he prepared. So, was first to introduce the process of vaccination against dreaded smallpox. He is considered as the father of immunology. His work is said to have saved more lives than any other work in by the human. So, that is the strength of his work. Just imagine. So, the vaccines are saving millions of lives every year since then. So, that is the Edward Jenner, he actually vaccinated the cowpox vaccine he prepared to several people and prevented in that time the dreaded smallpox. So, in 1881, French microbiologist Louis Pasteur, you know, so he has demonstrated immunization against anthrax to sheep by attenuated form of bacillus. They cause the disease. 4 years later, he developed protective suspension against rabies. So, rabies vaccine, he also cholera vaccines, also all this, you know. So, that is the contribution Louis Pasteur, his contribution is it is something to the field of microbiology or the field of immunology and other field also. Such you have to study his biography, then you will know that. Then 1819, Emil von Behring, German scientist, discovered vaccines for diphtheria and tetanus, and he awarded Nobel Prize for that. Through vaccination, smallpox eradicated worldwide by 1980, polio eradicated 2013. Now vaccines are available for mumps, measles, typhoid, cholera, plague, TB, pneumococcal infection, influenza, yellow fever, hepatitis A and B, typhus fever, encephalitis, likewise so many. Now we have corona vaccines for COVID-19. So, this is Edward Jenner, Louis Pasteur and Behring, Adolf Behring. So, classification of vaccines. Current definition for vaccine. Vaccine is a suspension of weakened or killed or fragmented microbe or toxins of the microbe or antibodies or lymphocytes when administered helps to prevent a specific disease. So, this is the modern definition. Majority vaccines are made from weakened or killed form of microbe. Its toxin, its surface proteins or antigens. So, there are 4 major types of vaccines: live attenuated vaccines, inactivated vaccines or killed antigen, subunit vaccines or conjugate vaccine, toxoid vaccines or inactivated toxin. So, live attenuated vaccine. Live attenuated vaccines are produced by modifying disease causing pathogen, viruses and bacteria. So, it is the live bacteria or viruses, but it is modified, it is not going to cause any disease. The functional area is inactivated. The resulting vaccine organism retains the ability to replicate in the host, but it is not producing any disease, but it will produce immunity. So, it is not causing any illness. The immune response to a live attenuated vaccine is virtually identical to that produced by natural infection, similar to the natural infection. The natural infection causing the disease, but here this is not causing any disease, but it brings immunity. Live attenuated, attenuated means inactivated. So it's not inactivated, attenuated means it is not producing disease, it is live. Okay, so disabled you can call it as, attenuated means disabled. Live attenuated vaccines are fragile and can be damaged or destroyed by heat or light, so it has to be handled very carefully. So these live attenuated bacteria vaccines can also be rendered ineffective circulating antibodies. So antibodies also they inactivate this. Attenuation can often be achieved by growing a pathogenic bacterium or viruses for prolonged period under abnormal culture condition. How we can prepare? It is culturing the bacteria or disease causing bacteria or viruses in an abnormal culture medium for a long duration. We can select some strains, so they cannot produce disease, but they bring immunity. Microorganisms can be attenuated or disabled so that they lose their ability to cause disease or pathogenicity, but retain their capability for transient growth. They can grow for a while, not for a longer duration. So transient growth within a inoculated host. So they bring immunity to the host. Live attenuated vaccines may cause severe reactions in people, those who are immunocompromised or immunodeficient person, because they replicate vigorously, that's why. So what are the examples for live attenuated vaccines? So they are available now. Measles, mumps, rubella vaccines together, they come as a MMR vaccine. Then you might have vaccinated for this in your childhood. Varicella vaccine, so this is the chickenpox vaccine. Then zoster vaccine, which contains same virus, varicella vaccines, but in much higher amount. Yellow fever vaccines, rotavirus vaccines, influenza, these are all intranasal. Then oral polio vaccine, all these are the examples for live attenuated vaccine. So the live attenuated vaccine, where vaccine contain a functioning copy of the virus that have been weakened. This is a weak virus. So it will be presented by when it is injected, this vaccine, it is presented by antigen presenting, but it immediately bring lot of antibodies production and causes immunity, and whenever that is the live the virulent form get into the body in the next second time or subsequent time. Then coming to the inactivated vaccine or killed antigen. So here this is inactivated, heat killed antigen or heat killed viruses. Inactivated vaccines are produced by growing the disease producing viruses or bacterium in a culture medium, then inactivate with the heat, killing with the exposing to the heat, or else to the radiations, X-rays and all, or else UV rays may kill, like that, heat killed or UV killed, or by exposing to the chemicals. So all these the viral particles or bacteria inactivated by this is the inactivated vaccines or killed antigens. It is critically important to maintain the structural epitopes. So when it is exposed to heat, so the proteins, the protein epitope or antigenic epitope should not be damaged, should not be denatured. That protein should not be denatured. That care should be given. Otherwise, the vaccine won't work. So they can whole cell or fraction of the organism. Inactivated vaccines are not alive and cannot replicate in the host or even in immunodeficient person. So it cannot be replicated, only it can bring immunity because it is heat killed. Inactivated vaccines always require multiple doses. A protective immune response develops after the second or third dose. So it cannot be in one shot, it has to be given, subsequently it is the second dose and third dose. In contrast to the live vaccine, in which immune response closely resembles natural infection, the immune response to an inactivated vaccine is mostly humoral. It is through the antibody mediated, and no cellular immunity. So, it is not causing any cell mediated immunity, this vaccine. Antibody titers, the amount of antibody developed against this inactivated antigen diminish over the time. That is why it has to be given second time, third time, like that. As a result, some inactivated vaccines may require periodic supplemental doses or booster doses to increase the antibody titer or circulating antibody, the amount should enhanced periodically for this type of vaccines. So, heat inactivation is often unsatisfactory because it causes extensive damage or denaturation to the antigenic epitopes. So, that care should be given. So, chemical inactivation is the better method. It will preserve the antigenic epitope. So, it is the chemical inactivation by formaldehyde or alkylating agent has been successful. So, the inactivated vaccines currently used available are the vaccines, inactivated whole viral vaccines for polio, hepatitis A, rabies, inactivated whole viral vaccines for influenza vaccine, whole inactivated bacterial vaccines for pertussis, whooping cough, against whooping cough, typhoid, cholera, plague. So, you will find here, this is the intact virus, X-ray radiation. So, it damage the genetic material so that it cannot replicate, but the antigenic epitopes are intact. So, it produces immunity or immune response, but not causing disease. Subunit or conjugate vaccines, purified antigen. Subunit vaccines are composed of antigens purified from microbes, which are usually administered with an adjuvant. With an adjuvant is nothing but an agent that improves the immune response of a vaccine. Adjuvants may be added to the vaccines to boost the immune response, to produce more antibodies, and to bring long-term immunity. So, usually the you will find the bacteria having a polysaccharide coat, but polysaccharides are poorly immunogenic. You know that antigenicity or immunogenicity you have studied already. So, high affinity antibody responses may be generated against this polysaccharide antigen in infants by coupling with polysaccharide to proteins to form conjugate vaccines. These vaccines elicit helper T cells to stimulate the germinal center reactions, so that the more you can see the immune responses will be generated, which would not occur with the simple polysaccharide vaccines. So, example for these vaccines are vaccines composed of bacterial polysaccharide antigens are used against pneumococcus and Haemophilus influenza. So this is what you can see: hepatitis B, influenza viral vaccines, pertussis vaccines, whooping cough vaccines, pneumococcal vaccines, then meningeal coccal vaccines, then human papilloma viral vaccines. All these vaccines are subunit vaccines or conjugate vaccines. They are purified antigens. So, this is when they are administered, there will be no if they are conjugated with the adjuvant, then there is a immune response you will find. So, the diphtheria and tetanus vaccines contain the adjuvant aluminum hydroxide, which potentiate the antigen specific antibody response needed to protect against these infections. This is about subunit vaccines. The last variety is the toxid vaccines or inactivated vaccines. Toxid is the toxin. So, the vaccine is for this harmful product or the toxin. These are called toxid vaccines, made by the germ that causes the disease. The toxin is the the harmful product of the germ or the virus or bacteria that causes the disease. They create immunity to these vaccines, toxid vaccines, just the toxin, okay. So they create immunity to the parts of the germ that causes the disease symptoms instead of the germ itself. That means the immune response is targeted to the toxin, not to the germ, instead of the whole germ. Here one may need booster shots to get ongoing protection against the disease. So the example is the diphtheria, tetanus, DTaP vaccine. It is a combined immunization, DTaP here you will find. So these are the combined toxins for diphtheria and tetanus. So this is given as a vaccine. Vaccines against bacterial illness such as diphtheria and tetanus aim to elicit immune response against disease causing proteins or toxins secreted by the bacteria. The antigens in this so-called toxid vaccines are chemically inactivated toxins known as toxids. So this is diphtheria and tetanus toxid along with acellular inactivated pertussis vaccines together. You can see this is it is giving protection for 3 pathogens. This is for 2 pathogens. So these are all the commercial names. These are toxid vaccines. So then another variety, DNA plasmid vaccines. So here this is the genetically engineered vaccines. So this is this comprises small circular piece of DNA called plasmid that carries the genes encoding proteins from the pathogens. So DNA vaccines developed to address several viral diseases recently to treat the SARS coronavirus, SARS-CoV in 2003, H5N1, H1N1 you know. Similarly, the avian influenza, that is H5N1, H1N1 pandemic influenza in 2009, Zika virus in 2016. So DNA vaccines are prepared for this or now currently used. So now the recent one is the vaccines against COVID-19. So India developed several vaccines, COVID Shield, Covaxin. So what are the types you can see? So these are you can see the Covishield is the chimpanzee adenoviral particle used as a it's a DNA plasmid vaccine. It is developed by Serum Institute Pune. Then Covaxin, inactivated virus, you know that inactivated the vaccine, Bharat Biotech. Then DNA vaccine developed by Cadila, Sputnik. So this is this is a human adenovirus vaccine developed by Reddy's lab. Then protein subunit vaccine developed by Serum Institute. So all these vaccines are developed now. So they are started the immunization program. So you may get this shortly in a 2-3 months. Till this vaccine is available, wear mask and keep social distancing. This is indispensable. Don't forget your face masks till you get vaccinated for COVID-19. Thank you.